Okay, well, let's go on ahead and get started then. I see we picked up 4 attendees. That's good. Like I said last time, if you have a video camera, it'd be great. Turn it on so we can get the feedback, so it doesn't feel like we're just talking to each other. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the second LeCat's REDCap Hour. It is Thursday. That's good news. And I will say that. Yes, thank you, Dave. Okay. So there we go. So just in case you didn't make it to our first REDCap Hour, my name is David Alexander. I'm the core director for the Cyberinfrastructure Enhancement core of the LeCat Center. And with me, I have the small REDCap knowledge. And with me is Daniel Lorio, who has the large REDCap knowledge. He is our REDCap administrator, and he's with me today. Let's roll it there. Say hello, Daniel.
Hey, hello.
Very good. Okay, and we'll have more with Daniel shortly. But today we've arranged some material for everyone. We're going to start off. We really need your feedback to shape this this REDCap Hour. We got some feedback from the first one, and we've taken that advice. We've also had a number of groups offer to present on things that they're doing with REDCap. So we would love to hear more about that. If you have a project that you're working on and you would like to present it, show and tell, show us what you're doing with it. We would love to see that, or a technique, anything really would be great content. We'd love to have that. Also, we did record the first REDCap Hour, and we're recording this one as well. And we'll make that available. We just haven't gotten it there yet, but we'll have that on the LeCat's, the PBRC/LeCat's YouTube video channel, and we'll make those available as well. So if you see something and we went through too quickly, you'd like to get back to it, you'll be able to do that with the video. And there's the link to give, that's actually a link to our REDCap instance to provide feedback. Again, we'd just love to hear from you. If there's something specifically you'd like us to cover, we're all open for ideas. Today I thought what we would do is show you a feature which I'm particularly fond of, called repeatable instruments. And then Daniel's going to take over and show you how to utilize REDCap libraries and import them into your project. And then we can open up the floor for Q&A. So again, really loose. If you have any questions, Amber helped me test out the chat. We have the chat working today. It didn't work in our first presentation. Go ahead and shoot us an IM if you need to, or just chime in. Again, let us know if there's anything that's not clear. Okay, so I'll kick out to REDCap and start by showing you repeatable instruments. Make sure my session's available. So what I've done to show you about repeatable instruments is just make a very simple project. If you're not familiar with repeatable instruments within REDCap, what it allows you to do is store data in such a way as to have a one-to-many relationship, something that in the past in REDCap you might have used just a single instrument to capture this data. For example, today what we'll talk about is the need to store data about an employee. So a single employee might have multiple or many skill sets. So what I've done is create some instruments to store employee data and skill set data. Before repeatable instruments, you might have stored this data in a single row. For example, employee data, and then skill set 1, skill set 2, skill set 3. And that will allow you to store the data. However, if an employee only has one skill set, then you've allocated more space than is needed for the record. Or if the employee has, say, 5 skills, they're unable to store all 5 because you've only allocated 3 skill set columns in the table. So with repeatable instruments, what you're able to do is have a second instrument that repeats for another instrument, and as REDCap says it, store an infinite number of child rows. If you want to think about this as a parent and child, or one-to-many, infinite number of those mini rows. And it's fairly easy to use in REDCap. And so what I'll do is just show you this sample project. And again, ask me any questions if you have any, and we can dig into it. But we'll start by looking at just these basic instruments. So here's the employee instrument. Oh, sorry, I'm going to edit the instrument, so we'll show you the structure. If we go into the employee instrument, you'll see all I'm capturing here is a first name, last name, and hire date for the employee. So just a header record that'll tell us which employee these skill sets belong to. Then in the second instrument, we're going to capture just basic information about the skill and then the years of experience with the skill, just to show you that we're going to capture data in that child instrument as well. So these are just, right now, these are just basic instruments. There's nothing repeatable about them yet. How do we begin that? Well, what you do is go into Project Setup for your project. And here, under Optional Models and Customizations, you see a repeatable instruments item. What you can do is just click Enable here. And what it does at that point is it presents you with all the instruments that are known to the project. And what you want to do is select the instrument that's going to repeat. So I'll just say, let's pick skill set. And then this column allows you to add a custom label. And we'll see later how this is useful, but for now, just trust me. What I'm going to do is put in a piping value. So we'll pipe in the name of the skill, a dash, and then the experience, which is the number of years, if you remember, from the skill set. So the skill name and the number of years of experience. And this label will show up later within REDCap, and I think you'll like how useful it becomes. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now it's been applied. So if we go back to the employee instrument and click Add a New Record, here within the instrument we're able to add an employee. So for our purpose, I'll go ahead and add Batman, first name Bat, last name Man. We'll say we hired him today and that this record is complete. Well, what we can do is we can save and stay on this instrument, or save and go to the next form. Now what happens at that moment is you're taken to the skill set, the repeatable instrument, and you're able to add skills. So this is Batman. We'll say he's able to fight crime, and he has 15 years of experience doing that. And this record is complete. And we'll save and add a new instance. He can also drive the Batmobile. He's done that for 10 years. And this is complete. And then what we can do is save and exit the form. So what we've done there is created that Batman header record, and now we have two skill sets that are so that's the one in the relationship, and then the many in the relationship is the skill set. Now it displays for us, because of that piping information that we put in the repeatable instrument dialog box, it actually pipes in the data that I just entered to show those skills for the employee. And then what you're able to do from here, we could add a new skill if we wanted to add a new skill, such as typing. So there, we can add a new skill from the table that's found underneath the header record, or you can actually click on this. This shows that there are multiple skill sets for this employee, we can click on the plus and again be taken to a new one, a new instance filing 1 year. He's just started to do that. There, and so now we can see that the status of that record is incomplete. I didn't complete it upon entering. So this just gives you, and also what's new with this feature is that it shows the status is mixed, showing that there are some that are completed and some that are incomplete. So let's see. So that's the gist of how this can be done with an instrument, but it's also available as a survey. So in order to enable this as a survey, what we'll do is return back to project setup and enable survey use within the project here. Then, by going back to our instruments, now we can see that that these two instruments are now enabled as surveys, and the survey knows that it's a repeating instrument because it has a loop here that allows you to enter in multiple survey pages for that skill set as well. Now there are some other modifications that need to be made within the survey. If we modify the settings for employee and then scroll down through the designer, we'll want to make sure that this option is checked, which is auto continue to the next survey. So in this case, you've created that header record through the survey. Now continue forward to the next to the next survey, which is the skill set survey. And then likewise, within the skill set survey, you want to scroll down to the bottom. And in the same area, since this is a repeating instrument, you can see allow respondents to repeat the survey. You want to check that box also. And you're allowed to customize the text on the button that's presented on the page, and we'll see that later, but I've changed it to say add additional skill sets. So after making these changes, what we can do is, and then another feature that you want to use is the survey queue. When you turn on I actually have these values already within this dialog box. But the survey queue is basically a to-do list that's presented on the survey page itself. So what this will allow the person filling out the survey to do is see the values that they've already entered for the survey. And it presents itself as a survey queue link at the top of the survey. We'll see that in just a few minutes. But what I've done on this dialog is just added in some more piping. So the header information, the first name and last name for the employee are piped into the instance of this survey queue. And then I've also put in a rule that says only show the survey queue once the header, the employee record, is completed. So we'll see how that works when we go to the survey itself. So let's see. Thank you. That's right. So managed survey participants became available once we said enable surveys for this project. Then if we open a public survey, our instrument's now presented as a survey. We can enter in another employee, choose Superman for today, submit the survey. We're taken to the repeating skill set survey. We can see a survey queue up here at the top right hand corner. But what I'll do is say strength, 5 years, add an additional skill set. This allows you to add a multiple one. Flight, 15 years, add an additional one. Vision, 10 years. I'll say, actually, before I add that one, I'll say, well, let's say, what other skill sets have we entered at this point, because we can't see them on screen. Well, if you click on the survey queue itself, it presents to you that in the header record, there are these 2 skills that have been added so far: strength for 5 years and flight for 15 years. So the survey queue is useful to show you that to-do list, what's been done so far for this survey. Then you can either add additional skill sets from here, or close and return, add this one by submitting it, and we're done. And we're actually presented with the survey queue at the end, so it shows what you entered. So the survey queue is a useful feature for reminding folks who are using the survey what they've entered so far.
And if you accidentally clicked on submit too quickly, there's also a button to add additional skill sets if you needed to do that. So
yeah, so you could actually come back in and add another typing 1 year and submit.
Yeah.
Now you have it complete, and you can close the survey. So, so I think that's a really useful feature to allow you to do these repeatable instruments. It's something that I saw was missing when I first started using REDCap, and I like it. But one question you might have is, how is this data presented? What does it look like in the underlying table? So if we go to the data exports, reports, and stats link, and then click on View Report, you'll see that what's shown is what's shown are the 2 header rows. So here's your Batman row as record ID number 1, and then Superman as record ID number 2. And then for each of those record IDs, you'll see child rows, so the exact same record ID, but then a different sequence number within repeat instance that shows the 4 skills that are associated with Batman. And likewise with Superman number 2, these are the record IDs for the repeated instances, and again, an incremented value within that set, 1 through 4, that show the values with Superman. So all the data is presented within one project, within one export, and then it would be up to you to group this data appropriately. The example that I showed employed a skill set as just 1 repeating instrument, but if you had, let's say, 3 or 4, 2, 3 or 4 repeating instruments, you could set up as many as you like underneath this. This layout that you're seeing here would just become more and more complex as more values were added down the matrix, right? So, so then it'd be up to you to organize and join that data appropriately to get it out. But this does present a really easy way to gather data that falls into a one-to-many relationship. And I think that's it. Are there any questions about repeating instruments? They're sort of new to me. I know Daniel's worked with them as well. So if you have any questions, let us know, or in the chat window, or through your mic. Either way. Okay. All right. Well, then what we'll do is we'll go back and move on to Daniel. He's going to show us about utilizing libraries in REDCap.
Before that, though, I do want to mention that you are able to do also repeatable events as well. We haven't covered that, but there is a video that goes into a lot of detail. If you have access to REDCap, or if you don't, you can still view those videos. The easy way to access those videos inside REDCap is actually going to the My Project. Go to the Training Videos page inside REDCap, and then you scroll down to the bottom where they have special features within REDCap projects, and you'll look for the repeatable instruments and events. It's a 33-minute long video, but it goes into a lot of detail regarding both repeating instruments and then also the events. So, and what I mean by events is like it's typically used for longitudinal projects where a participant might come in one day, so the initial visit, and then might follow up 30 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, etc. And then say if you have an instrument that you want to get, like, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But anyway, one of those events, you can assign one of those events to actually be repeatable, so they can repeat it over and over and over again to an infinite number. So I still have a little bit to learning to do on that as well. Since I haven't really used it very often, but you can go there to get a lot more details.
Secret says, hi, could you repeat the name of the video that we can watch in REDCap? Can you show it again, Daniel?
Yes. It's called Repeatable Instruments and Events. And if you have REDCap, it's under Training Videos, Repeatable Instruments and Events. If you do not have access to REDCap, you can actually go to redcap.pbrc.edu. You do not need to log in, and then there is a link underneath the login that says Training Videos. If you want, you can probably type that in just to show the link. Or maybe I can type it in.
Yeah.
I have a keyboard, huh? Let me see. Let's see. I'll give a link to it. This is where I will be ending up anyway. So this website is called projectredcap.org. There are some resources here at the top, right, which I will copy and try to paste it for you guys. Is that right?
Yep.
Then I'll go to the resources, videos, and here is the list of videos that we have under the training at PBRC in REDCap. So it'll be the special topics, and then it'll be the last one called Repeating Instruments and Events. And I'll go into a lot of details regarding that. So while I'm on here, on this page, there was, let's see. All right, so while I'm on here, there is I would like to show you guys the number of institutions that actually partnered with REDCap. You can click on the world map or the REDCap partners link inside this on this website. So we'll look at the world map because I think it's pretty awesome. And you'll see a lot of little red dots. Each one of these red dots are people that are actually using REDCap, institutions that are actually using REDCap. So if we zoomed in over to Louisiana, you can see a few of them here as well. So this is LSU, and this is Pennington Biomedical Research Center, and you'll see me and Connie as the collaborators. So if you're wondering if your institution possibly has it, you can possibly look at this map and see if it's available at your institution. I'll go back. The other alternative is you can click on REDCap Partners, and you can search for partners. So you might type in your institution name. So ours is Pennington Biomedical Research Center. It'll come up. So just to give you an idea. Okay, so next I'll talk about REDCap libraries. A library is a collection of data collection instruments that REDCap has collected over time and basically developed the surveys for you. It has to do with like a lot of standardized surveys that people collect information from. So from this website, you can actually, from projectredcap.org, you can actually go to resources, click on library. It'll show you some information about it. You can download the list of library instruments, meaning just all the titles of it. And if you prefer Excel, like it's a CSV file, but but you can look through all the instruments and see if anything rings a bell or if it actually fits your study. And the great thing about these having this library is that you share a lot of the variables and collection information that you can share between other partners, REDCap partners, if you're doing multiple studies at multiple institutions or something like that. So we'll check it out. We'll search the REDCap library. So this is the REDCap shared library, and you could see a list of all the instruments that they've collected over time, that they've developed over time. Let's say BRFSS. So we can look at one of these, and you can see the list. You see what's the information regarding that. So I've actually looked up BRFSS, and that was part of the Center of Disease Control. And you can see you can actually go to this website, cdc.gov/BRFSS, and you can see the physical PDF files of the questionnaires that they use. And typically, you must log in from REDCap to actually view the instrument or download it as a PDF or import it into REDCap. So I believe he's logged in, but we'll need to find a project. Can I use your test project?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So what we'll do is we're back at David's test project, and we will import one of those instruments. So we're at the online designer right now, and you'll see the list of instruments that he just displayed. It's called with two instruments called employee and skill set, and we'll go ahead and import one of the instruments from the REDCap shared library. So click on that, and we're back at this page. So this one looks like a good one. It's titled "For Testing and Demonstration Purposes Only." It's called the Nacho Craving Index Survey. Got a lot of downloads, so it's pretty nice. First, we want to look at and see what it looks like when it's inside REDCap. So if you just click on, sorry, I went a little too quickly. If you clicked on View as Web Page there, a mode will pop up, and then you'll see a demo of the instrument. So have you ever eaten nachos? And this is a required value. What it doesn't show here is some of the branching logic. So I use nachos to treat a medical condition other than hunger. True or false? That's hidden until you answer the first question: have you eaten nachos? So some of the branching logic doesn't show up or work, but you get an overview of what it would look like once you import it. So, all right, that looks good. Another one, you could also view it as a PDF file. In REDCap, you can export your data instruments as a PDF file and take it wherever you want and get people to actually fill out information for you. If you don't have internet access at a location, or if somebody just prefers to enter these surveys with a pen and paper. So we'll look at it as a PDF as well. This pops up, a shared content agreement, gives you an idea of what kind of warranty that they provide and the license of it and stuff like that. So we'll agree with this, and then it'll show you the PDF file of what it would look like once you print it out and give it to a participant. So you'll see it from here, and so that looks good to me as well. So we can exit that. Oops, I think I exited the
Oh, is it this one?
Oh yeah, it was. I'll exit this one just to prevent confusion. All right, we'll go ahead and import it into the REDCap project. So we'll go ahead and agree to this thing. It's the same thing that you saw earlier. And this is where you can rename your instrument.
Nice.
Say this is not necessary. I'll go ahead and delete that. Nacho Craven Index Survey looks good. So we can go ahead and add that to the collection of instruments. So return to previous page, and we got a new instrument. And you'll see that they have 17 fields available. You can enable it as a survey or delete it if you decided to go with something else. Copy it if you like the idea and just wanted to test it with different variables and didn't want to mess up the original, or you can rename it again. So I'll go into this. We'll go ahead and preview the survey. So it's, as you'll see, it looks very similar to what was shown before. So and you can keep on doing this. You can import more and more instruments. Say if you are actually doing these different modules, you can go ahead and get a lot of instruments imported into your database fairly quickly, and then start your project up right away. And then the best thing about it is that a lot of these people who are using these instruments are using the same variables, so comparing it across different locations or different sites, if you are doing so, it makes it simple when comparing the data or importing data from another place into your database. So. All right.
So is anyone free to share this way in the REDCap library, or do you submit it to share?
I'm not exactly certain how it works. So I think people can, if they can request a validated instrument for inclusion through something called REDLoC, which is a REDCap Library Oversight Committee.
Okay.
And they'll review the relevance, the accuracy, the function, encoding, and all the copyright issues. And then you'll see this red star on it, and which indicates that it's been approved for the inclusion. There might be some instruments that are not has not been reviewed, and that might be due to other places, other institutions that might have shared it. But all of this is considered as is basis. So you just kind of need to be, even though you can download this and import it into your project, do test it out, do look over it, and make sure it actually works the way you expect it. So, yeah.
Great.
And they do also ask you, and I know there's a lot of citations, REDCap citation, there's a LCAT citation, but also there's another citation if you use the REDCap shared library. This is it right here. You can see it on the REDCap shared library main page, and they'll give you this boilerplate to include. So. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you can cover? If you had any questions?
Any questions about libraries or anything else with importing instruments? I don't see any. I want to make sure I don't miss them, because last month I had an issue not seeing some messages, but I think we're good. Okay.
That's pretty much it for libraries.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Daniel. Let's see. I don't know if my presentation is behind this or not. Of course it isn't. Okay. We had escaped it. Okay. So that was our library usage demo. And this is a slide that we showed last month, which is basically how do you start using REDCap. And you can email us at redcap@pbrc.edu, redcap@lcats.org.
Either one.
Either one.
And I think it's actually REDCap at pvrc.edu.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have one for LaCast.org.
Right. It's redcap at pvrc.edu. So if you have any questions, you can email us at redcap at pvrc.edu and we'll see those. But you can also request service through Spark, which is our service catalog, which is available at spark.thecats.org. And Daniel mentioned if you're going to cite the REDCap library, that it has a citation, but never forget, if you use the CATS resources, to cite the CATS. And then here's also a link for citing REDCap. Those are easy enough to find. And we'll make all of this available on YouTube before our next REDCap Hour, I promise. And that's all that we have. So, like I mentioned, I just want to repeat because I want everyone to help shape what we present here. Let us know what you want to see. That link, www.thecats.org/REDCap feedback, is a REDCap survey where you can give us ideas for topics, and then a link to training resources there from the CATS website. And Daniel touched on this last month. If you don't have an instance of REDCap and you're not sure yet if it's right for you, you can go to redcapdemo.vanderbilt.edu and sign up for a 1-week demo. This will let you sort of kick the tires and try out some videos to see if REDCap's going to be a good fit for you. But that might be a good first step if you're not quite ready to start with a service request to start a project. And I think that was all that we have. So this REDCap Hour looks like it ran about 40 minutes. Are there any questions that we can help with? Anyone out there have any questions or anything we can assist you with? Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for participating. Oh, I see we're having a message come in. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're happy to cover any content that you'd like us to focus on. So just let us know from email or from our survey, and we're happy to tailor the presentation to you. So thanks again, and we'll see you late October. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.